can. So for today's video, I thought I'd do a really in-depth tutorial on how to do a smoky eye, especially for those of you who are new to makeup. It does look quite intense and quite dramatic, but I literally speak through every single step. I go into so much detail about blending and what shadows to use and things like that, so I'm literally going to talk you through all of it. I just want to say as well, like, not to be afraid of it, because I know smoky eyes and like blacks and dark browns can be very scary, especially if you're new to makeup, but you can literally just take a makeup wipe and wipe it off if it goes wrong. So just take some time when you've got like time in the day and you don't need to be anywhere, sit down and just practice, because the worst thing that can happen is that you do it wrong and it looks bad and you just remove it and redo it. So you're never going to get good at something unless you practice it, so just keep going with it and have some patience with it and you'll be absolutely fine. Another thing I'll say is make sure you have good brushes. I show you the brushes that I use throughout the video and for each step, but make sure you have good brushes, because I feel like with smoky eyes they cannot go wrong as long as you have patience, you blend properly, and you don't apply too much shadow at once. Those are like my 3 steps. So have patience with it. Don't apply too much eyeshadow at once, because if you apply too much it's really hard to remove, whereas if you do not enough you can just add more. And have some good brushes that are going to really help with your blending process and you'll be good to go. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to include in this intro though. Please send me photos if you recreate this look or if you try a smoky eye for the first time, because I'd love to see. And just like I said, like, don't be afraid of it and don't worry if you do really badly at first, because I promise you'll get better, and just remove it if it goes wrong, because it's not the end of the world. My makeup just used to look atrocious all the time because I never knew what I was doing, but I am self-taught myself and I learned through videos like this, so hopefully it helps some of you as well. Also, make sure you follow me on all my social media. It's just HannXRenee, and give this video a massive thumbs up if you enjoy it. Let me know if you want me to do more beginners sorts of things, because I know I was going to make this a series and I've not done one for a really long time. So if you enjoy this, then let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do like more beginners tutorials, and give this video a thumbs up because you love me. I'm gonna get going anyway, so if you want to see how I got this smoky eye, then just keep watching. Okay, so I've started with this eye done so that we can see sort of like what we're going for, so that you can see like what the finished look is going to look like. The first thing you want to do when you're going to do like quite an intense smoky eye is start off with a base. So I have used Soft Ochre by MAC, which looks like this. It's a paint pot. It's similar to my skin tone, so it makes a really nice base. Basically MAC do this one and Painterly. Painterly's more pink and Soft Ochre's more yellow. I use this one because it just leaves like a really clean base to work with, so I'm going to pop some of that on. Okay, I then like to just set it with a white powder. Any face powder will do. Basically by setting it, because it's a sticky base, if you just go straight in with eyeshadow, the eyeshadow is going to really stick to it and not blend very nicely at all. So you just want to set it just so that it doesn't crease either. And just setting it with like a white powder or like a skin tone powder, just make sure that everything blends nicely on top. So if you're new to eyeshadow and you're kind of scared about applying it, this is what I've done here. So I have just laid out all of my colours in sort of shade order, I guess, so they go from lightest to darkest. You want to start with your light colours and then finish with the dark ones, which is why I've done them in this order. And to be honest, the more eyeshadows you have, usually the easier it is, because you've got more to blend with. So I've picked out 5 here and then a lid colour here. They're all Makeup Geek. Don't feel like you have to use Makeup Geek, just use whatever you have. I'm using these because they're cheap and like affordable, and they're really good quality and really easy to work with. So we've got Creme Brulee right at the end. This one is Frappe, Cocoa Bear, Mocha, Corrupt and Shimmer Shimmer. I'm just going to do something neutral and relatively straightforward hopefully, but yeah, we're just going to start with the lighter one, which is Creme Brulee, and we're going to use this in the crease. So we're going to take our E40 by Sigma, just any big fluffy blending brush will do, and just anything that's going to blend it really nicely. And we're going to start with the lightest one, which was Creme Brulee. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my brush and tap off the excess. And then we're going to start in the outer corner, so right here where we want the most definition, because as you can see the darker shadows are right at the outer corner on this eye. So we're just going to start here and just use like light pressure and just start blending it inwards. So I'm just using circular motions. You just want to take your brush and start sort of like, yeah, using circular motions backwards and forwards, and slowly blend it in towards the inner corner of your eye. It's always better to go in with like not enough on your brush and then have to add more, rather than going with too much. So always make sure you use a light hand to start with and sort of build the product up, because it's a lot harder to remove product than it is to add more. If you don't put enough eyeshadow on in the first place, then you can literally just dip your brush back in, but if you go in with too much, you're going to make your life a lot harder to blend out. So because this is our lighter shade, I'm taking it all the way into this inner corner area here. As I've got less product on the brush, I'm sort of blending it inwards. and you want to blend it upwards as well. So we're going to create like a really nice gradient with all the colours. So the lightest colours are going to blend up further up towards the brow, and the darker ones are going to come more and more inwards, if that makes sense. So the lighter the colour, the further it blends, and then you'll just get a really nice gradient. So you'll have your lightest one blended all the way out, and then your darker ones blended less and kept more in the crease. Because we're doing eyes first as well, seriously don't be afraid to go all out on this inner corner here, because I clean this up with a wipe here, so you can literally go as crazy as you want here and it won't matter. Just don't be afraid to like fully blend it out, because to be honest, the more you blend it down here, the easier it's going to be, because you'll have more to clean up and it'll create a sharper line. So I like to go all out and really blend downwards here. I'm then going to go in with Frappe and use the same brush, but I'm just going to keep it a little bit lower down. So Frappe was this one, in case you forgot, which is like the slightly darker one. I'm just going to use the same brush but not blend it as high up. So starting in the exact same place and doing the exact same steps, but just using sort of less of a circular motion. So we're doing tighter movements now, I guess, so it's not as blended high up. I hope I'm making sense. So starting on the very lower section of the eye and blending it less upwards. So as you can see, we're getting a little bit more depth here from that shadow because it's a bit darker. We're just going to blend this slightly less higher than creme brulee, so again we create a really nice gradient effect. And then again, when we've got like literally nothing left on the brush, I'm just going to blend the rest of it away so it blends into creme brulee. That rhymed, yes girl. Then we are going to take our tapered brush. Mine is dirty because I've just used it on the other side. This is an E25 by Sigma, but the MAC one is also really nice, which is a 217. I'm not going to use this one though because I've already got this one dirty. So we're then going to go in with Cocoa Bear, which is like the slightly darker one. So that is the one here. And we're going to start being a little bit more precise with our blending. So because this is tapered, it's nice because it's not going to buff the product out as much. It's going to keep it where you want it more. So I'm just taking a relatively large amount on my brush and then tapping off the excess. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start patting here where I want the product. So where I want the darkness to be, I'm just going to pat at first rather than blend. So you get the product where you want it and you get the colour intensity that you want. And then once you've done that, you can start doing your blending motions again. So I'm just patting, and then after I've patted, I'm just going to start blending really gently. I'm not going to go like as crazy as we did with the first two shadows. I'm just going to blend them a lot softer. And then I feel like this brush does an easier job at blending. So once I've applied the product where I want it and I've blended it a little bit, I'm then going to go in with the big blending brush again with the other two shadows and just start softly blending the edges. And then this is where you can start bringing it into the inner corner a little bit. We're not going to take it as far in because we want the lightness here and the darkness here. I'm going to take it about halfway in and just blend it into the other two eyeshadows. Okay, so you can already see the amount of difference that that's made. I'm then going to go in with the darker one again, which was Mocha. And I'm going to mix the two together just so that they blend nicely together. So I'm literally taking my brush and like dabbing it in Cocoa Bear and then Mocha. And I'm just going to intensify it again further. So again, we're just patting it where we want it, not really blending, just applying the product directly where we want it, and then blending it softly a little bit, and then going in with the bigger brush again. So yeah, I've gone back in with this black fluffy one again, which was the E40, and we're just going to blend it all together. And then yeah, we're just really blending it here to make sure that when we clean up later, we get a nice sharp line. And then to finish off, I'm going to mix these two now. So I'm going to mix a little bit of the black in. If black scares you, don't feel like you have to use it because you could just get away with this. Like a smoky eye is not necessarily including black. You can just do a brown one. I'm just putting the black in just to show you what it looks like and to again show you that it's not scary to use. So I'm just going to use the tiniest bit. Because Makeup Geek eyeshadows are pigmented. So again, just taking it on this brush and just patting it where we want it. Like so. And you want to really concentrate like the darkest shadows on the lash line. So you want the most definition right at your lashes. And then a little bit up towards the crease, but just not as high. So literally we've just blended them all a little bit less upwards. And then again, just going in with the blending brush and blending it all together. A good tip as well is like if you lift your chin and you look downwards in the mirror, so you lower it, like you lift your chin right up and then look right down, you can really see any areas that aren't blended enough compared to like if you shut your eye. So if you just lift your chin and look down, you can really see like what areas need a little bit more blending. Okay, so to me that looks fairly blended now. It wasn't that difficult. I told you it wouldn't be that difficult. Just work with it and have patience. I'm going to put some of the lid colour on now, which is Shimmer Shimmer, and I'm going to use a MAC 242, which is literally my favourite flat shader brush ever. It's such a good brush. So I'm just popping some of that on my brush, and then I'm going to go there. Like so. If you wanted to keep it all matte, then feel free to, or if you didn't want something as light on the inner corner, you could just use something more neutral tone, but I like quite a bright inner corner, so that's why I've gone with this. But you just do whatever you're comfortable with. And then I'm just going to blend those edges again, so we've got no harsh lines and all the colours sort of mesh into one. Like so. This part's the fun part. We're just going to take a makeup wipe. I've just got one by Simple, and I'm just going to press my nail right up to the edge. And you're just going to start like cleaning this edge up here, as you can see. So this side looks way cleaner because I've cleaned this one up a lot more, like that side up a lot more obviously. So you literally just want to start wiping away. I like to do a little bit at a time because can you imagine like doing all this work and then completely messing it up? Like you'd be gutted. So I like to do a little bit at a time and just check like what angle I'm doing. You basically want to follow from like the corner of your eye up to your brow bone, up to the tail of end of your brows, sorry. So you just want to see like how it's looking. And then what I like to do is I don't clean up right from the outer corner, because you're going to do your lower lash line as well, and it looks a lot more flattering if the eyeshadow here sort of links up to the lower lash line here. So you can sort of see already from the excess we've got there, that's going to be where the lower lash line is. So you don't want to take it right from the outer corner, just because it won't then sort of like join up and look right, I guess. I'm not going to show you how I do a wing because I realise I don't do that a lot on camera either. So the way I like to do wing liner is I like to use an angled brush like this and a gel liner. This one is Black Track by MAC. Just because with the angle, like it just covers so much area quicker and it's a lot easier than using like a liquid, I feel like. So what I like to do is I get some product on the brush, so I literally just dip it in the pot like this, and then I wipe off the excess either side of the pot. So I literally just go like that, so you get a nice sharp edge. You literally just want to take your brush and just follow the line that we created with the wipe, and then all you're going to do is you're going to take from this point here and you're just going to drag it back towards the lash line and start creating the wing. Like so. Don't feel like you have to make your wing as long as mine. You can make it however long or short you want it, but I like mine to be quite dramatic. And then once you've started doing the wing, you just want to start dragging it down and doing your upper lash line. So I like to keep it a little bit thinner on the lid so that you can still see a lot of the eyeshadow. So as you can see, I've pretty much got like no liner really on my lid and like quite a thick wing, so that's just how I like to do it. Like that. And then after that you can do some mascara and some lashes, do whatever you want to do, and then I'm going to go off and do the rest of my face, and then we're going to finish with the lower lash line. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've just finished off the rest of my makeup. This is what I've done for the lower lash line. Lips are Dolce K, which is Kylie Lip Kit. I'm going to show you now how to just finish it off and do your lower lash line. So the brush that I love for my lower lash line, like when I bought this has changed my life. It's all I use now. It is so perfect for blending the lower lash line because as you can see, it's nice and small and dense, and it's just like so good for blending. This is the shading brush by Real Techniques, and honestly I could not recommend this brush enough. Like for lower lash line, it just makes it so easy. So all I'm going to do first is I'm just going to go in with the lighter shade again. So we're basically going to do the same thing like that we did on the upper lid, and we're just going to start with the lighter shades and then go darker. So I'm starting with Creme Brulee again, just tapping off the excess, and again just starting from the outer corner and blending inwards. So it's up to you as well, like how far down you blend this. I blend this down quite a lot just because I like my lower lash line to be quite smoky. If you don't want it to be that smoky though, then don't worry. I've just realised I've forgotten something actually. In my waterline, I actually used a concealer pencil by MAC. This is one of the Studio Chromographic pencils in NC15/NW20. I just wanted to put a cream concealer in the waterline so that my eyes stay nice and big and open. You can put a black in there or a brown if you want to, but I'm just going to use a cream colour. Yeah. And like now you can see the fact that we did that liner a little bbit lower and the eyeshadow a little bit lower, like it just joins so much nicer and creates like a nice line all the way around to like surround the eye, and it's not just cut off at the outer corner, which just looks so much nicer. I'm then going to mix the two darker ones together. You can include this one if you want, but I don't see the need, so I'm just going to mix Cocoa Bear and Mocha, and we're going to keep this right at the lashes, so a lot closer, and not blend it as far down. So I'm going to take an angled brush and we're just going to go into Corrupt here, which is the black, and I'm just going to pop this on the very outer corner so it joins up with that wing. So as you can see, it's literally just on the outer corner here. I don't like to bring the black in too much because I like my eyes to stay nice and wide and open, and if you bring the black in, it'll sort of close your eyes up a bit. So I'm literally just going to sort of join it here where that wing is and just blend it in a little bit. For lower lash mascara, I'm using MAC Extended Play because it's got like a really nice sort of small brush, so it's nice for the lower lashes. So I'm just going to coat those now. And then all we have left to do is put a highlight on the inner corner and the brow bone. So I'm just going to use Shimmer Shimmer, which is the same eyeshadow that we used on the lid. So I'm just going to pop that right there on the very inner corner, and then also a little bit on the brow bone. Like so. So those are all of my tips on how I achieve the perfect smoky eye. Hopefully this helps some of you anyway, even if you've been wearing makeup for like ages now. Hopefully you picked up some new tips, or like I said, if you've never worn makeup before, hopefully you'll have the confidence to try now. I'm gonna get going anyway, so thank you so much for watching. I honestly love you guys to the moon and back, as I say every single video. I love you and you mean the world to me, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah.